map number 1. So at this point, I think these guys are hitting their groove. They're in map 3 of a big grand finals for them. How can OpTic not win this? But it will be hard.
Hard indeed, and let's get this going. It is DE Train OpTic Gaming versus G2 for the grand finals here of Northern Arena in Montreal, presented by Bell, with OpTic Gaming starting off on the CT side, and G2 on T, pushing towards alleyway, and Rush opens up with the first and second kill. Mixwell with the crossfire, traded back by Scream, and it's going to be a 3-on-2 situation. Shock spots one at E-Box, and that is going to be Tarek falling back, but the bomb is picked up by Scream, and he as well is also falling back, and we're going to reset the round.
I think in a 2vx situation, this is one of the friendliest maps to terrorists who know how to play this at a disadvantage. So they're going to be running the bomb back, create some suspicion as to where they might be, try to spread the CTs thin, maybe catch them on a bad rotate. Scream's actually going to join Shocks, and I'm still curious as to what they want to do, because the way I've seen Shocks play these is to try to split up, get one person to get a kill, get another CT forced into an awkward position, and there it is, first contact, first headshot. Nafly dropping down ladder, and the health barely favoring our CTs
Not
now.
again, Naf.
Oh, Shocks, just
it.
clothesline Stan. Now, of course, like Launders just said, this is it. They've got that opportunity to get to the bomb site. They should be able to find the plant, but Tarek at least takes one. It does force Scream off of the plant, and therefore another chance. He's going to reposition himself, but you can see him. He's being wary of the player towards ladder, which he assumes is still there. Little does he realize it's both men inside of Zed. Scream hits the first, and it's only going to be one shot, but Tarek comes out on top, and that will be OpTic with another pistol round. So many pistol rounds. They win. Incredible stuff. It's exactly what they needed, but once more, so damn close.
Damn, that was lethal from Scream. And you're like, okay, he maybe gets a low HP player. Now he takes the head right off of the man who was both supposed to be the saving grace in that 2v1, but no matter. OpTic pull out a pistol on the last map, and this is when it all comes down to. This is it, every single round. Now, you talk about tragic rounds in post maps and just think about how each team has like a way out, like they got another map to look forward to. No, there is no more of that. This is literally what it comes down to.
Round number 2 is now underway. G2 Esports once again opting not to go for any armor, so the pattern continues with the exception of Scream, going for a small armor with the Deagle, and they're moving slowly in the brown halls, looking to set up for it. The lure B, but Stanislav pushes up with the MP9, spotted the first guy, looking to fall back, even smarter move to not continue to aggress forward and give that 1-minute advantage in OpTic Gaming to start.
Of course, still 4 players for G2 starting to push in through these hallways slowly but surely until Mixwell peeks wide. He's just going to reconfirm, of course, that they are still in this position because nobody else has pushed on the side of OpTic. Stanislav with the MP9 takes down 1, Mixwell takes down 2, and now Scream left standing, but not for very long because Tarek rotates on over, cleans up shop. And OpTic, they avoid that upset round, right? But obviously G2 came into that one. They didn't buy much as far as weaponry goes because they had the bomb plant in the first, right? So I'm expecting obviously the AK buy here and now. My big question is, do they have enough utility to couple with those rifles?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm them, I'm not even sure if I indulge in this just because they didn't do any damage last round. So like, they're not even putting G2 in danger of having a save, right? It's 5 alive. They're hanging on to the guns they have. I mean, it is a really weak buy, and they're going to start off with an aggressive push. And Stanislav with the MP9 actually comes out the victor versus RPK and his AK.
Till Shocks brings it back by 1. That was going to be, Mixwell pushing forward. Tarek brings it back, so it is still a 1 advantage, and Stanislav falls back with a sliver of health. Body spraying down Nafly will find the best of him. So you could argue, of course, there's an advantage here for the offense, as they do still have both 3 players standing, but Stan on the MP9 now topples, and this A site nearly cracked open till Tarek trades it back by 1, looking for another until Shocks drops it down, and it's Tarek left standing. He's got himself his M4. He has a flash diffuse. He can play this situation. And there's just a whole bunch of kind of disconnected variables, I was going to say. Smiths was over towards Ivy, Shocks was up in Brown, the bomb was still towards T-spawn. So there in that moment, if Tarek actually gets inside of ladder room, survives for a moment, and then just reacts to whatever is sent his way, yeah, I don't think that round was over so easily.
Definitely. Yeah, what's funny about that is the round changes for G2, but not in a way they planned. They still have to go get the bomb. So Tarek thinks he's outplaying, thinking 1 step ahead because they have the bomb, they're probably going B with it, when in reality G2 had to run back to T-Con just to get it, and that almost gave him the information to actually make a different play.
Even before then, on that previous round, I mean, what changed as well was Stanislaw won that kill at the beginning of the round, but he fell back, but his teammate pushed forward. And then Nafly got caught with a nade in his hand, so 2 players got caught. Unfortunately, we give the easy advantage for G2. That being said, though, they kept the MP9 and the UMP from 2 rounds ago, which puts them in a good spot to still go on a buy and still have the heavier firepower. Even to start, Tarek opens it up with a headshot onto screen.
5v4 looks good here for OpTic. Of course, the bomb's still down towards T-spawn. Just goes to show that G2, they're not looking to find any sort of a commitment. Instead, they're just trying to find some opening frag to bring it back, to punish OpTic in accordance to anything that they do throw their way. But this, of course, does keep things disjointed. We have RPK towards ladder. The bomb now probably going to be retrieved because seeing as the positioning from G2 with the emphasis towards Ivy, this could work into the outer yard split. But there's very much forward positioning here from Rush. So if they use this wall of smokes that we're now seeing sail through, he's going to be on the front side of them, allowing for him to take shots when they push, just like this. RPK traded one and done. Shocks, however, does still survive, and he drops another to the 1v3. Of course, right now, he's got the bomb and a flash on his back, but he's also blinded in the process with 30 seconds remaining to the clock. Of course, clearing these corners, but he doesn't check to the right. To his demise, it's Mixwell to catch him off guard and give OpTic another one.
That's a 2v2 if Nafly doesn't get 2 kills with a FAMAS after trying to trade for his teammate who dies at Ivy. But that's the value in the setup of having that crossfire at Ivy. Some teams will play it light. They'll have one person there. Someone will come CT late, but they can't have the same impact as if they're playing 2 dedicated. So they really did do a good job in calling out G2's default and actually doing damage control quickly enough before players got out on the sites. Also, they had really good grenade usage. They spaced out their Molotovs perfectly to push them back. As soon as we saw someone drop down ladder, a nade came flying at them. And so it was clear that OpTic had a good read on what was going on.
So this round here, no nades at all for G2 Esports. 3 guys pushed up here towards Ivy's side. OpTic Gaming really doesn't need to push in this round right now, so they're just going to play it back safely and utilize Nafly to just spot it once this smoke dissipates. But at the end, G2, we're going to have to move as a group. And again, no utilities to work with. They might walk into some crossfire soon, so it would be smarter to go from some sort of stack, or maybe go for a fake to go for a bomb plant. That's the idea that you want with this right now, right? With no armor being purchased.
Yeah, I mean, they have kind of what looks like a rifle default, right? Which makes no sense when you don't have utility. But you also have to wonder what they're trying to do because they haven't moved yet. So no one's actually acting individually just yet. The walk-up Ivy gets spotted, and that leaves them in a very awkward position where they want to move up, but they have to deal with the fact that they could get peeks. And here it is, the spray with Rush and Nap working in tandem. Rush putting a 3K on the board, and Scream left alone with the bomb at Ivy.
That's right, 43 seconds remaining. He's now spotted, and he's about to get taken down here by Nafly. Look at that. Not a single point of damage was done from G2's end.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. They had a couple of chances, I think, to hit some shots, but yeah, this is a strong start. They've won a round that has resulted in a double save. I think they were in danger of that themselves. So OpTic looking very sharp. And again, you know, even though they have this lead, it's expected of them on the CT side, right? So not exactly telling of how well they're doing.
Of course, speaking of what we expect from the CT side, right? With G2 not picking up the pistol, that makes it so much more dangerous because now any rounds that they can find, even if they get 3 or 4, I would argue they're competitive. But they need to find them in the hardest of rounds, these gun rounds. And if they're not able to break OpTic's economy, which will be hard considering how many people survive, I just don't see how G2 are going to do this. But this is going to be a good chance. They get themselves out of the outer yard, but Rush and Tarek find the first 2 frags, and Tarek finds the 3rd. It's only OpTic across the kill feed, leaving 2 standing. But the bomb's been planted at the very least till Tarek denies. OpTic Gaming are not giving up any space whatsoever. Smiths does find 1 frag, but their CT's presenting all across the board. And if you think about this, it was a full rifle round. They still have 4 players standing.
No, they made it look like it was just some type of eco-strat. Smokes cascaded over the site, but didn't obscure anyone's vision. And no initial frags came out, no trades even. And some scary kills from Tarek. Got a really nice 2K. Shocks, you know, in the position is like one of the rounds where G2 have won in the past. It's like they have no chance here. And then Shocks does something insane. He gets stopped just with a good spam before he could do anything dangerous.
Right now, it's really prominent, this idea of the green wall, because they stop everything towards the Ivy pushes. They stop towards the T-Con pushes. They go for these double pushes inner as well. That doesn't work. And now G2 back on a pistol save. And it'd be interesting to see, though, on the next gun round, if G2 will decide to test the waters once again inside the B sign, because nothing else seems to be working.
Seriously. Ooh.
Nice headshot from Stan, looking to make this one continue forward, spraying wildly. He doesn't find any frags, but you can see 3 players tagged heavily, especially Body sitting on literally a sliver. Tarek going to put down that Molotov to prevent them from pushing forward, so they will need to reel back, and this of course allows for the rotation from OpTic to at least get closer. They have 2 players inside of the Z connector, but they're not necessarily all the way in the B site because they know the rotate can still come through. It's really going to come up to Smiths here, as he's the only player with an AK in hand. It's him who's most likely to find a frag if G2 take any at all.
Sometimes an entry just straight up wins around, and if you have the AK going first, it doesn't matter really who's behind them. Second person gets to pick up a gun on whoever got killed, and a plant could be imminent. Smoke goes out. Tarek to dodge a flash, hasn't popped quite yet, and there they are running down the ramp. 1 kill, 2 kills. Can he get a third? Looking to do damage, but here it is. RPK in a good position to put the bomb down,
no.
But instead catches a bowling ball to the legs.
6-1 on the scoreline right now. They really needed this bomb plant for G2 to really build that economy up. Of course, continue to get the bonus money, but getting that extra bomb plant would have definitely helped the utilities should they decide to work towards this B bomb site here. But OpTic Gaming on the CT side continues to stand strong. And there you go. You see that $800 would have helped a lot of utilities for Scream and to Shox. Now they only have a flash each to work with. And it's going to be Shox to spot it first. Nafly pushing forward. It's pop for him, but there's only one that was blinded, and he pays a price. Smith capitalizes on the kill. Meanwhile, Mixwell has fallen down, so they did lose the battle inside as well. So Shox opts him down, and it's going to be a 5-on-3 situation. The bomb is still down intentionally towards T-spawn. They're still spawning. They're still looking for that information, and they spotted one in the form of Tarek at T-con.
The worst thing G2 could do right now is try to execute. They want to wait. I mean, it's really up to OpTic to try to even up, so they're going to 100% do something aggressive, and or at least be out of position. The trades are going to be hard to get as well, and so as long as they stick together, it's G2 to just look for a mistake. Here's Body to actually walk by an opponent, and Stanislaw catches him somehow.
Of course, Tarek alone over here towards the B site. This is where the 4-men push, so this would take a phenomenal individual performance, and he starts it with 1, but it's all he finds. Smiths with the refrag. Now, the smoke grenade towards Zed would block off the rotation, but no CTs from that direction. Instead, they come from behind. It is Shox trained in currently with that op, waiting for the angle as RPK plants the bomb, and Rush patiently holding off until Stanislaw joins forces. Of course, at this point, with utility in a 2 versus 3, they've already done the harder job of getting close to the bomb. It's not as though they're coming from CT spawn and have to run through those wide angles. They can take the fights up close and personal, and they do push back Shox, but it's just been too long at this point, and they will fall back. I think this is a smart decision.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Launders?
Absolutely. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, because you were looking at how Stan on that minimap was going, they were walking the whole time, so Rush was still holding towards the staircase, looking at the crossfire. They thought that somebody was still inside the white halls. So that's how important it is to get that information. Even though Rush made it back on that flank, not being able to clear towards that white halls, wasted all this time and didn't give a chance here for OpTic Gaming to even attempt a retake. But at least they save a few guns here, 2 AK-47s, and we have a 6-2 scoreline.
Yeah, they don't. They could have tried to look for kills, but they wouldn't have been easy to come by, right?
Sure.
They had just got spotted, and so like pushing into the site is not really a situation where they not only would probably lose, but then also just drop their guns for no reason. So the way they see it, this half isn't over. You guys win here, but we're going to take it to the next round, and if we knock all you down, it's not going to look good for your economy. So playing their advantages, and it was a good 5v3 opening from G2. I mean, incredible that they were able to get those 2 kills. And that refrag on Body almost made it a little weird. And Mixwell here in the flash, backing off and throwing some utility, which is eliciting this utility to Ivy. Whether or not you want to go Ivy, it's the easiest way to get a CT to react.
Mixwell repositions to the train stopper, and Scream with RPK by his side, just going to be holding inside of T-Con. Molotov there to burn back any close CTs, but the nearest would be Rush on the top of the trains. The green one at that is Mixwell, again, looking for the angle towards Ivy, is forced backwards, and Smith's now not only using his utility here, but following it up with his presence. Trying to find the entry, but it's Mixwell to drop him first and foremost. The potential split between T-Con and Ivy is here on our plates, and RPK gets it started with a 2K. Nearly finds the third until Rush brings it back by 1, but Body finds the trade to the advantage of G2. G2 as they sit in the 3 versus 2. Both Mixwell and Stan as well standing next to the site. Stan pushing forward. He's trying to create some space here, trying to shut down this push. Scream, however, drops the bomb, connects the shot through the smoke. Both players just so close to one another, but nobody finding frags. Still, they're holding, they're waiting. Nobody presenting themselves fully as of yet. Stan, on just a smidgen of health here, has to be so damn careful, and it will be Shox to find the frag. 1v3, Op up close. Does he save, or does he try to do this? He spots the man up close, but it's to his demise. Body finds the headshot, and that's a great round from G2.
Man, they really did a great job of applying the pressure there. They made it, that was just a series of mind games, right? Positionally, just trying to get your opponent to show their hand, and no one would give in. I mean, OpTic tried to play it patiently, but that 3v2, G2 have shown that they can play a man advantage just as well as a man disadvantage. They're creative in those 3vx situations, and it's honestly a testament to their skill as a team, right? They've just got layers to their rounds. It doesn't just all come out of spawn. It comes to these good individual and dual tactical decisions in these 3vx situations.
No, in this round, you see G2 Esports, despite them getting this momentum, bringing this game back. It's 6-3 with 9 rounds played so far. They're still playing it very cautiously towards the T-spawn. They're even playing all the way back, a few steps away from T-spawn to watch any alley aggressiveness from the CT side. Meanwhile, though, for OpTic Gaming, they see that nothing's happening so far. They're hesitating rotations across, and they're going to decide to plant Mixwell at the inner bomb side. So it's going to be a 3-2, slightly weaker now as they don't have that stack going towards this A bomb site.
They don't necessarily have anything up their sleeve that's going to catch OpTic off guard. They've just decided, okay, I think this is a round where they're going to try to do something aggressive. They were wrong about it, so OpTic at least get to delay off that timer, which is really important for them. Also haven't expelled too many grenades in response. G2 again very passively approaching the first few moments of this round, but it's come down to the last 40 seconds, and as long as this remains 5v5, it remains CT sided. Now smokes will cascade over the site, but will that be a tell? Does this mean that it's going to be an A split?
Yeah, it's going to be towards the outside, 2 down towards the ladder, 3 towards T-Con, and it's going to be Tarek getting the first kill onto Body, playing towards the fire train. He also burns the second one, though, before Smith trades it back. So it's a 1-minute advantage. 20 seconds left on the clock. They are trying to get this bomb plant now for G2. Now it's a success. Post-plant position, Smith, Scream, and Shox up against Rush, Stanislaw, Nafly, and Mixwell. Stanislaw going for that flank, 1 coming towards Z. They are pinching in, and G2 are in a tight niche right now. 2 playing towards the all-off, 1 falling down, and that is going to be Scream. Smith peeking out, though. He does get the first kill, pushing out on E-Box. Now he's going to be the last man standing on a 2 versus 1. Nafly and Mixwell now spotting towards the blue train. He tries to bring that fight forward, runs out of bullets here, but that clock is ticking down. He does have a molly to work with, and they don't have a smoke. He does get the kill, but is that molly too far?
Smith misses it.
They have a kit to work with as well.
Wow.
Will they have the time?
They actually do barely just get it. OpTic 7-3, and that retake. I mean, that was a formidable hold in that clutch situation to get those 2 kills, but really good stuff overall. Just they play so carefully, like they don't just run in by themselves. They trust that, you know, there's always that thought in your head, you know, that demon in your mind that's like, I could win this round, right? I could push through the smoke. Yeah. I'm in a good position. But then if you really, really do trust your team, you'll work that man advantage out together, even though it won't be as easy for each of you to get a kill.
I think the positioning from OpTic there was also really sick before they go for the retake. They've got 1 player over towards the Ivy Hall, 1 man playing Old Hell, another in Z connector, and the 4th over towards Ladder. So really 4 different positions all pushing at the same time. They overwhelmed that G2 after-plant scenario, and it was them to pick the round. Now this time we've got G2 already congregating in towards the T-Con. Rush from on high, takes down 1, traded back by Body after he does find the dink. Tarek trying to deny the bomb plant, misses those shots, and Scream takes the frag. But meanwhile, Nafly takes 1 elsewhere, and so it's the 3v3. Mixwell on the bomb plant itself. Shox flashing through the smoke, catches them off guard, but Stan catches the headshot. Predictable push, and Mix takes another, leaving it to the headshot machine himself. Peeks out wide, but to no avail, because Mixwell's got his name, and OpTic have round 8.
A solid display of counter nades as well as Just a patience once again, right? Shots flashing through that, and them half expecting it. We're able to both be there, but beyond the smoke, not willing to push through it, right? Just hang out until everyone's ready. And so it puts a lot of pressure on you, who has thrown the smoke, who you know it's going to dissipate when you're trying to make this creative play, to like do something earlier than is good, than is right for you. So important for OpTic to just wait back, and it ends up paying off. Now G2 have 2 pistols in this full buy, denoting that they are 1 away from a save. This lead is starting to get a little bit too drastic, and OpTic have a T-side on this map.
Very similar to the buy that they had previously there with the 2 pistols coming through, but they at least get the opener towards Hell. Nafly coming out towards Z, big flash coming through, both camps, both fully blinded, and it's going to be Nafly at least that gets the first kill. Easily traded back, 4-on-3 at the bomb planet. Tarek now once again on the flank, inside ladder room, loses the fight versus the pistol, and RPK the tank picks up that gun. Now Stanislav with Mixwell. Mixwell has been on point so far with AWP. There's going to be a smoke for him to try to creep a little bit more forward. Ooh. What a shot by Smith with the drive-by there with the Tech 9 peek. That gives a call from Mixwell to save his gun. And looks like G2 are going to make it 8-4. Scrawny, you talked about how important it was to get those 3-4 rounds on such a CT-sided map still on a DE train. And at this point, they get at the harder rounds because they have the deficits of the pistols with the 3 AKs, but they still manage to get the rounds. So great job here. Almost a nice kill missed.
Oh, close one, close one. Going off what you just said, right, with the importance of finding those 4 rounds, it's like, even if, okay, sure, maybe G2 find another round. Let's say, for example, a 10-5 half. OpTic have their pistol round, and I don't have the stat on hand. I really wish I did, but I am quite convinced that they have been winning the majority of their pistol rounds, not just today versus on those first 2 maps, but also this tournament in general. That moving forward is scary because obviously finding the pistol, it's a good likelihood that you find the following conversion points, and if G2 only find 5, only find 6, OpTic have a real chance of taking that in their early rounds. So this is still great for both teams. Everyone's looking healthy, as they did on Dust 2, as they did on Cobblestone. This game's not over. It never has been.
Weak buy here for Mixwell, the only man with the AWP. Everybody else doesn't have that much to work with, so he's really going to want to try to take first contact and allow his teammates to do something a little bit safer than just holding an angle on the site passively as they are now. Peeking out first is Tarek with the M4, getting a kill. Mixwell also joining in, and that's it. Now it's a 4v2 even with these guns.
Smith's going to be trying to round the bomb site as he does have screen by his side, but Mixwell takes them both. Nails the first shot, swaps to the sidearm, and pistol arrows away. What a fantastic individual performance again from Mixwell. We talk about this man leading the charge for OpTic, and they find themselves in a grand final. He doesn't go missing. He's putting up numbers and making this very likely for OpTic to continue forward with success on their CT side. 14-4, that is almost astronomical.
That was sick. That was really sick. I mean, just the awareness in that situation. To, like, pull out the pistol, know you have to take contact again. Like, you think maybe, oh, reposition, go to heaven. No, he anticipated someone to come and trade. He was completely correct about it and could not get caught off guard. I mean, he would have died and they still would have won the round. But the fact that he got both those kills, that's special.
Huge pop flash there. That's going to force the CTs to fall back, and that was Nafly to start. They are still trying to capitalize on the control of the Ivy side, but that smoke is just going to slow things down for a bit.
Again, this double Ivy has been a good counter to the Ivy presence of the terrorists, and G2 have never really been able to abuse this versus OpTic. They seem always ready for it.
Executing forward, of course, off of the utility, but it's RPK with the opening headshot. Smith takes one with the Tech 9. Tarek brings it back, but only by 1. And so G2 do have a chance. Mixwell firing off with the op, finds himself a frag, but it leaves it down to Stanislaw, 1 versus 3. An excellent headshot to RPK over the lip of the train, but it's just too much to ask for. And considering the buy there for G2, that's a big round for them to pick up.
Yeah, again, like properly situated to deal with it, saw what was happening through counter nades, but through the smoke and the fire, we had a split, And both those players coming out 1 for 1 is all they needed to aggress further, get control, and put Stanislaw in that 1v2 position. I mean, who knows what would happen if Mixwell had more time to frag, but the fact that he was alone at that point was the reason that OpTic lost.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, no, that wasn't Scream. Sorry. Body finds the opening headshot. That would have been amazing, but Mixwell and Naf bring it back by 2, so it's equilibrium here as far as the body count's concerned. Stanislaw pushing through the smoke, nearly catches him off guard, does take down the player to the train, but Naf is on his lonesome, and despite the low HP for G2, they scrape by with another round. This is now multiple maps. We see them pick up a few rounds at the very last bit of the half.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are going to be better at adapting, right? This is not a team that they hold in high regard than themselves, and for good reason. Their pedigree, their results have all proven that they, on paper, will win this series, right? This is a huge upset if it's to occur, and we're already within 6 rounds of the possibility of OpTic bringing home this title.
That's right, but even before then, with a great start from OpTic, G2 still managed to narrow down that gap to make it 9-6 in the first half, rather. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to break down that first half and move on with the last and final map here between OpTic and G2. So when we wanted to talk here about how Mixwell was playing so well on the CT side, I wanted to look to see how many first kills Tarek got. It's only 3, but he's had some impact kills on the CT holes outside.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was integral in all the rounds that they had in the beginning, where they were able to just clean up nicely. I mean, we had G2 again, like from behind, like they had the 4v5, and it comes down to this narrow like 2vx situation, and still able to pull out a couple of rounds of the eco round that they were able to convert, resulting in this 9-6 half. Once again, it was actually pretty similar in a lot of regards to Dust 2.
Dangerously so at that, right? And I mean, obviously we did see OpTic pick up the end of Dust 2, so will that be reflective? We're about to find out. But again, I brought it up earlier in the half. That pistol round it's cliche to say, of course, that pistol rounds can mean the world, but in this case, it really could. If you're able to get those first few rounds up onto the board, then your job is made so much easier. Obviously, we saw how G2 had to struggle in order to find the 6 they did. If they find pistol as opposed to round 3 instead after that reset as well, I mean, I do think that the economy starts to play into the favor of OpTic for a few of those rounds. But then also, right, G2 get by with the saving grace of winning that eco force, like you said. Yeah. So it's too close to call.
I think one recurring demon is that it seemed to be more CT sided no matter what. And I'd say that even though because they both play really well and dynamically on T side, they don't rush anything. They still have trouble versus the other team, like figuring out how to close out a half positively.
Well, it all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen. Tarek to spot things to start, and he sees one towards Z while the rest of them are still holding towards that ladder room. They still have utilities where they seem to be working for a split on the outside, so they all come streaming out from the ladder room. And Smith with a 1, 2, and 3, and almost wants to tap on OpTic Gaming at this point. 5-on-2 situation, and Stanislaw is pushing forward. Does not connect with any kills, and now Tarek is stuck to ace clutch this round for OpTic Gaming, and they say no for G2.
Okay, Smith,
damn.
Analyze that, right?
Shutting all of us up.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, critical. Like if you're gonna weigh any 3 kills in a round, it's gonna be the pistol that is the heaviest. So what more can you say? He just was a turret, couldn't be traded.
And just so crisp at that, right? I mean, they don't even find the bomb plant. So while we did see G2 find that first AK buy on the round 3 and win accordingly, they won't have that option. I mean, they do come into this one with 3 Deagle, a Tech 9 and a P250, but no flashbang, no smoke grenade. They're just gonna rely on aim, which Naf seems to have as he does take down the tank. There are 3 or 4 players standing, however, and 2 of which are over towards Ivy.
He has a family. He has a family.
just filthy deeking over here, and he's going to continue looking for another as he gets the confirmation of the tracer rounds, but Body, meanwhile, over towards the Brown Halls to kind of bring this back. Settle down, OpTic. It is still weapons you have to deal with.
That is a problem also of being confident of your angle. I mean, you saw him, you're like, I'm going to get him. I have a better weapon. I have his SMG. He's going to peek out, but that gives the advantage there for the peek coming through, right? The peeker's advantage, and he gets that shot. So a great job from Nafly from that position, getting 2 entry kills to start, and also putting it a 1-minute advantage for OpTic Gaming, who seem to be stacked up here towards this inner bomb site where they have a flash to work with, but it's in the hands of Nafly, who still has to meet up with his team.
Crazy part here is there's nobody at B for the CT side. They have rotated all of their players over towards the A site. They've got the man still standing at the bottom of the ladder well, but Nafly entering into the A site's only going to reconfirm this wrong bias. It's Scream finding the kill, but now OpTic in towards the B site. This is a bomb plant, in their eyes, a victory.
Yeah, I don't think they obviously didn't know that they didn't need to use him as bait, but here's Shocks on a big flank.
Should be an easy couple of kills, but he hasn't sealed it up quite yet. He's also down to half HP. His teammates are dying, and now it's a 1-on-3. Oh no, it's actually a 1-on-2. He could potentially win it, but he gets killed. And you got it. You never see that. You never see that from Shock. You never, ever see Shocks.
Even on top of that,
in those situations,
when Shocks miss all of those shots, nobody pushed forward to kill him. They still look back towards Z. So whoever was planning on that bomb is like, don't worry, guys, I got this. That gave a chance there for Tarek to just focus back towards the Z side and actually prevent this rotation from coming through. What a pistol round there for OpTic Gaming.
Oh my God, they steal it back.
That is a game-changing round.
It is. It really, really is. 2 more saves potentially for G2.
OpTic, don't throw this. It's in your hands to take. So they exit out from A very, very quickly here as Nafline finds the opening frag. Stanislaw chiming in with 2 of his own. They are stampeding forward over the French side, who do try to hold on with their lives. Body denied as Mixwell finds the headshot. RPK, the saving grace. Down he goes as OpTic find another one and move 1 round closer to sealing the deal here in Montreal.
And we saw what happened when they got rolling on their T side versus Heroic on Callable. They really do get into that Virtus Pro mode, that momentum shift into the 4th gear. They can, depending on how confident they feel right now, just run over G2, who actually not buying early, but having basically a discount off some cheaper rifles that aren't quite as effective as M4s. And on this map, play a huge role in Naf getting that first frag. He doesn't get a second of mix with just an MP9, gets one for himself. Well, 2 players remain, both with bombasses.
RPK trying to push through towards all up, but gets picked off here by Stanislaw. Already a 4 versus 1 situation. Body at this point will have to attempt to save his weapon. But you could see that after this bomb plant, we're still setting up to start, but I wouldn't be surprised if OpTic Gaming are going to try to hunt him down here. He's holding his gun with the FAMAS towards the CT spawn, while the rest of them, you could see it, they're already looking back towards T-Con. They're already moving out towards the IV, but it is going to be, at the end of the day, a 12-7 scoreline with OpTic Gaming aggressive push on the outside that just capitalize on top of it.
Now, we just watched G2 obviously invest everything they had into this round, right?
Exactly.
Which means obviously in the next they're going to struggle. And if they do decide to save, then theoretically OpTic should find an easy 13. So at this kind of moment, what did G2 do? Do they try and force the issue with force buys again and again, or do they just actually give up that much of a lead?
No, they really believe they're the better team, that they should win this map, and they should not buy. I mean, the fact that they bought early here is maybe the last risk they'll take, you know? If this goes to 14, then you might see an ugly buying pattern, but as long as it stays on 12, they're not going to try to go and dip early because they just saw what happens when they try it. It's worth a risk, potentially, to stop the bleeding early, but now they've got to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to win a round on what should be the easier side. Full buy-up. We've got like over 5K on all these terrorist players as well, so...
And an opening frag to boot. Tarek takes down 2. Body going to be trying to respond with the Soul FAMAS, but he is denied. OpTic pushing forward as the FAMAS is reacquired from Smiths. He's going to be looking to deal damage, but Shocks also trying to get sneaky through the smoke. He's rejected. And Smiths, too, deterred from the site. He goes back to the CT spawn. What can he do here? 21 points of health, no utility to play with. Obviously, he's trying to save, but OpTic at this point, they're in that groove. You mentioned it longer, so much cash flow. They'll take these risks for days.
How many rounds this have? Is that like 2 rounds so far where they haven't lost a single player for OpTic Gaming?
2 rounds. I mean, this is 3. There's 3 in this half, and they stole it back on the eco. They didn't even have armor on that eco that they won. They didn't even buy armor. This is the final. Like, this is the last. This could really be it. 3 rounds away, and this was almost what could have been a 3. I mean, we're not going to write G2 out.
No,
we
can't.
We're going to let them show us whether or not they can stay in this. All we can say is that OpTic are adding in the ingredients. They've got the recipe for success right now. Mixwell taking a bit of damage, ends up getting a kill. Shots put in an awkward spot, and even though he gets rushed down to red, it's okay. 3v3 now.
Smith's trying to find an angle to T-Con, gets confirmation as he spots the elbow. Will use the verticality of the ladder to at least try to find a different spot. But however, it does seem as though OpTic are looking to disengage, and with the 3v3, lots of utility. What do you think's the best avenue here, Landers?
Well, again, this is what G2 would do, is exactly what OpTic would want to do to them, and that's to try to thin the CTs out on this big, wide open map that anybody could be lurking on and make you make a mistake. Now, G2 are going to be tempted to push something, and if they do actually do it, right, this is going to be a fair bit of information for them. So OpTic Gaming making a decision right now to what seems like move over towards the B site, but RPK has so much info. IV is clear, T-Con will soon be found out, and their hand shown.
What's missing, though, is that they can't see T-Con. So there's going to be 3 guys streaming out, nobody at A except for the Opera that doesn't even get a shot out. So now it's a 3 versus 2. RPK has to come on a big flank from T-Con now, but also gives a chance for Stanislaw and company to get the bomb plant and just set up here and hold their grounds on the offensive. RPK, after the bomb has been planted, is moving out there towards T-Con. Body is at Z and is smoked out at the same time. They don't have anything to work with. They don't have any kits. Their first one to fall. Body in the last man standing. Gets spotted down to 19 HP. And that's it. That's the call for him to fall back and save. It's going to be 14-7 in favor of OpTic Gaming.
This was a 3v3 that basically set it. Like, we win this 3v3, we've overcome this demon of always losing to G2 in the 3v3s, and they do it on the T side with patience and solidarity, sticking together, picking the correct site, finding an opportunity, closing out the round.
Get an M4 at least, right?
Yeah, I mean, silver lining, right? Saving grace. He saves with the M4 at the end of this one, but still, we said OpTic. Look at the cash flow right now. We've got players with literally near $15,000. They just have not been dying on this T side. It has been OpTic overrunning G2 every single round. I think that was one of the closest, and it comes to a 3 versus X. Like, yeah. Really?
What's the plan right now? Again, OpTic Gaming looking to get a man advantage early, and then from there, just tack on 20 seconds per kill. And if they don't get it, do something aggressive. It's going to be a flowchart for them, right? They know what works. They've gotten away with it. It's basically up to G2 to figure out what kind of curveball they can throw in this situation. And again, when they go down, they don't get scared. And that's what OpTic have to be worried about. But at the same time, they're going to be on full alert. Here's RPK to actually decide not to throw a smoke. Not exactly sure how close somebody is to him. Rush gets flashed off, but RPK gets caught up guard, and Mixwell shoots him out of the sky like a fish.
Stanislaw still standing, Molotov down, trying to push the CT back, but the aggression, you can see G2 at the 4 versus 5, they need to take an initiative, right? This is why Scream was trying to chase that frag, because he knows someone has to step up and do something, because OpTic's just running all over them. They're now starting to group themselves back together to the potential 3-way split on the A site. We do have Rush over towards Ivy, the bomb with 1-man escort outside T-spawn, and really, this ladder push could be the sealing deal. Scream, however, just setting up the crossfire with Smiths on site. He has only a scout to play with, so no lethality of the op. Instead, he'll just be pegging away damage as the T's forward. But with 30 seconds, they need to come here and now. Rush pushing forward, going to be finding some info, catches the first, and there is Mix to take the second. 5 versus 1 now. His body's still standing, but he's nowhere to be found. OpTic Gaming, there's no way they don't find 15.
What is match point and $0? G2 are going to have to come back 7 rounds in a row, and the next time they get to buy, they're going to have pistols.
Insane right now as Body, again, He's keeping the utilities as much as he can at the same time, and it's going to be championship point right now for OpTic Gaming. A third time in this T side where they don't lose a single player in this half. I mean, Launders at this point, the green wall is real.
Not only does that mean that G2 have to win with worse guns than they've had for the last 3 rounds, they have to go into the next round versus a full buy, the round after that versus a full buy. OpTic have done a fantastic job keeping their economy in check. They are not one away from a save. And there we have the Let's Go OpTic chant. It is definitely a good time to be a green wall fan. And they have proved to be the immovable object, besting the unstoppable force that is G2.
How deflated do these players look right now? They know what's ahead of them, right? So maybe it's focus, maybe it's drive. They do still have a buy to try to make this work. Obviously, Shock's going to be a limitation here with only that MP9. And again, no op for them to play with. So if OpTic actually want to take this one with little risks, they can try to find those opening frags, but Nap getting aggressed from the brown hall. Takes down both with headshots. This man has been an MVP this entire tournament, and in a crucial moment, in a crucial round, he comes through once more, leaving only Smith's Scream and Body to try to work if it rushes some other ideas. Body rotating forward to the train yard will take one more. Let's not get ahead of ourselves as the Baum is still in T-spawn, but this could be it. Scream, do you have it in you? 1 versus 3 with a flash, an M4, no kit, and a lot of opponents up front of you.
Bomb is about to get picked up because despite all this fight, they left the bomb inside T-spawn, so this might give a chance for Scream to reposition himself, but he was smoked out to start. He does have a flash to work with, no kits. Nobody really aggressing yet for OpTic Gaming. They don't want to step into the wrong lane and get one-tapped here by Scream. But as the clock dwindles down, you are trying to look for some information, and they spot it. Scream gets the first kill onto Nafla at the lower ramp. That's the call for the remaining 2 of OpTic Gaming to get a bomb plant on the outside, but Scream reads that like a book. The bomb is now planted. He's up against Stanislaw and Rush, and will OpTic Gaming at this point be crowned the champions here of Northern Arena, presented by Bell Hill here in Montreal. Scream moving up now. Just in front of the old bomb train, he has rushed forward to face off against Torres Ivy. He gets good, and that is going to be it. OpTic Gaming takes it 2 minutes to 1, and are your Northern Arena Montreal champions, presented by Bell.
Can you believe that? Absolutely incredible. What a run from them in this tournament, and I think they almost won this matchup like 3-0. Like they almost won every single map.
This could have been done with that very convincing 2-0, right? That it could have been over so quickly. And